Welcome to so today we are checking out a Shadowcraft deck. This is focused on Satan Shadow, which takes advantage of the new Soul Taker. We have got 2 Soul Takers in this deck, although I would recommend 3 personally, since that would probably definitely up the consistency. So if you're wondering what the main aim of this deck is, it's to take advantage of Lara Soul Taker and Satan in combination. It's actually surprising how well they can work together using Soul Steal or a similar card like the Death's Mistress here. You can actually abuse that combination quite quickly and get Cocytus for 0 as early as probably turn 6 or turn 7. Maybe even earlier if you're taking full advantage of things. So that can be pretty insane, and we'll get right into it and check it out. So first up is Shadow versus Shadow. So this actually I think could be a really viable kind of deck. It's definitely an interesting one, and definitely one I want to test more of. I did throw away quite a bit there looking for a decent early game in this first game, since I didn't have to play too much with this deck to get half decent games. Soul Conversion is also a good option to use if you need it. And there is our Satan that we needed. I did decide to throw the 1-3 to board since we're ahead. I wanted to keep it that way. Staying up on the enemy was always going to be the way I wanted to play this deck out. And Soul Steal was a good option this time around to both draw a card and potentially set ourselves up with something to re-summon later on. Ceres Eternal Bride though, definitely one of the cards that comes in handy. You can decrease the cost of most of the cards by 2, which you can take pretty easy abuse of. And I did decide to go for draw here. And now we're almost set up. So we have Lara, we have Prince. All we really need now is a way to combo them out. And Soul Steal is actually the exact way we do that. So you can do that for 7 pretty easily. Unfortunately that means we can't do it until turn 7, which is a little slow right now. Luckily Ceres should buy us at least a turn. And Eternal Vow will actually decrease the cost of everything in our hand, so we can actually play everything out reasonably cheap, which would mean we can take a massive advantage of Lara if we can play Val next turn. Looks like they're playing some form of Mecha Shadow, if I had to guess. So the Eternal Vow here, it does actually work really well. We can't clear completely, but we do get to at least limit what damage we're taking this turn. And turn 7, we're looking at going for the Prince combo. Looks like they're not taking that route, but they're definitely running a Prince variation of Mecha Shadow. So we go for our own Ceres here, since we're not too worried at all actually, because of the fact that we played Eternal. It actually lowered the cost of our combination down to 3, which is pretty insane. And that guarantees that we are going to get the Satan for the 0 cost. And we still get to keep a Satan in hand if we need to restock. And now we can heal, set up a really nice board, and basically cripple our opposing Shadow player for long term. I don't know if it's possible. You could potentially get it out as early as turn 6, thinking about it right now. Maybe even earlier with some combinations, but turn 7 I think is the more consistent time you'll pull off that kind of combination, since it does require some good setup to get it going fully. You need at least a 3-card setup potentially, which with the draw that Shadow has is still not impossible. It's fairly consistent. So we've got a pretty good turn. Mecha Wing Angel works well, set up a board. Gives us some potential. Lurker in the Dark's interesting. It looks like they're going for a very interesting Shadow deck from the opponent, at least. But we can pretty much just go face what we want here. And Earthfall I should have just played to start with. I shouldn't have actually worried about the play I made. Earthfall would have been pretty crippling to begin with. And that's not great for us. So we do need some way to get rid of this or deal some severe damage either way. And honestly, Desire is pretty good. It's going to kill it and heal us, so we can take advantage of that while dealing some slow damage in. And since we have Gluttonous Behemoth, we can actually get them down to as low as 1 next turn, which sounds real promising. If we can get something else though, potentially we can just win off it. We could win off, I think there's only 1 card, and that's going to be Azeroth if we can get it. That would just be a straight up win. Although this is still pretty good, it sets up potential lethal next turn. So we at least we've bought enough time to get him down to 1. Their Lady Grey isn't going to make too much of an impact here. It's really going to do little to nothing. Except potentially buy them a turn if they're lucky. And they did do an okay job, but it's not really going to be good enough. Now it does end up us just winning that match there. So this is one of the first new videos where I actually get to use a new card, and that was actually great. As you saw, it's a really insane combination when it works, but it isn't also the be-all and end-all. So going up against Sword this time, the real thing to deal with a lot of the time will be Leod. He's a problem card when coming up against Sword. We're starting off with Death Mistress in hand, which is why I held on to it. It's a good combo piece. Sorry, and Manifest Malice is pretty good as well. And we got the Ceres, which could help us out. So now we do need a good setup. Deadly Dreamer is definitely one of the better cards to have come out. But we really don't have enough yet. So Soul Steel, another good one to have. We still need Prince, we still need Lara if we really want to make a difference though. The opponent's finally going for their Leod. And there's our Prince. So we're 2 of 3 cards in at the moment for our setup. And we're only 1 turn, or 2 turns off right now, but we will only be 1 turn next turn when we're still looking for Lara. So luckily it didn't seem to matter because flooding the board ended up as a concede. But you can see we're very close to getting our combo pieces fairly quickly. And if we were able to pull one of the 2 Lara Soul Takers, we could have easily have won that game, I reckon, off it, which would have been pretty awesome to do. Of course, that's why I still recommend running 3 up the consistency a bit. I definitely want to add a 3rd one to this deck and give it another go. But overall, it's still consistent enough, it does a good job, and when you pull it off, it feels great. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to check the link in the description below for the deck list, like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, see ya.